What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. We're back with the best game mode in One Piece Treasure Cruise. That's a lie. Grand Party, and we're here with day number 2 of Season 12, I believe. So, that's crazy. It's been a year since Grand Party has been out, and yeah, it's still just as flawed as it was since it came out, which is bizarre, but not totally, you know, surprising, because that typically is what happens. But either way, we're here with the Gear 5 team once again. The Uta was fun, but when you're up against a bunch of Gear 5s, I mean, if you can't beat him, join him, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to be jumping into Gear 5. What I will say, though, is that if I do come across opposing teams that are not Gear 5 Luffy, I will actually switch up my leader, just because I think it'd be really cool. But we'll see what happens. You know, if it gets to like day 5 and I find someone that's not using Gear 5, I'm not going to be switching. I want to get those 15 wins, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we'll see what happens. If I end up locating someone who's not using Gear 5, then yes, I'll jump at the opportunity to switch it up. But you see that with the Gear 5 team here, we're using a Dex team, we're using the Free Spirit team, and we are using, like a Striker Health Cut focus team. And, I haven't really, like, knuckled down what the best strategy is with Gear 5. Like last season, for example, we tried the strat of 2 health cut teams and then the Free Spirit team. That didn't really work out amazingly. Like earlier on, it was really good, as you could just see what you were coming up against, but later in that season, it got really difficult for that team to actually find success. So what we'll be doing is we'll trial out this team, you know, using a Free Spirit team. We'll use the health cut team that we liked, which was the one with Jack and Roger Whitebeard, which I think is pretty solid. And you got Luffy Yamato on the bench, which can still do pretty good damage. But we'll try Dex team, because Dex are pretty reliable. Powerhouse, which a lot of the Dex units are Powerhouse, or there's a pretty good handful of them that are, receive pretty good buffs. So we'll just see what happens this season. So moving on to match 2, this is actually kind of funny. So the individual who I played in match 2 is the exact same player that I found in match 3. I don't know how it happened, but I found the same person twice. So because we got the victory on match 1, yeah, against this person, yeah, we got another win against them. So not really too much to say about it. We ended up using the Dex team first. The Dex versus Sai actually works relatively well, even though the opponent does have Wano Law to debuff the powerhouse and driven characters on our team, due to the inherent tankiness of Dex, and also because Big Mom is such an amazing unit. Like, I cannot stress enough how good Big Mom is in Rumble. Probably one of the better units to release this year for Rumble. While she might not be used in Grand Party as a leader all that much, definitely for Dex, Big Mom is just amazing. However, you know, the binding is just really frustrating, and you'll see even the second match that we go up against this guy, we use the same strategy, and yeah, we get binded again, and Blackbeard just sits there with not being able to use a special for quite a long time, and it's really frustrating because Blackbeard's cooldown's really high naturally, and then you add Wano Law on top of that, and then we just can't launch our specials, and it's really frustrating. But either way, I was trying to conserve the burst skill for the match afterwards. Now, the way that we kind of did this, I mean, I don't know, again, I'm not 100% knuckled down how the strategy is going to work with this team. I think ideally what we'd want to do is use the health cut team first, because that's going to be the fastest way to charge our burst skill, and then we can just kill the opponent. Because what that enables us to do is that if we kill the opponent with our burst skill, it means that the opponent is not really going to have much of an opportunity to charge theirs, and we can kind of snowball our way into victory if we can find an easier opponent on game 1. So it really comes down to what we can find for game 1, and from that point onwards, things do get a lot easier. But again, we'll see what happens here. We saw that, you know, a lot of characters or a lot of teams I come up against were using Sai first, which made things a little bit trickier for this team setup. And as I said, we found the exact same guy for the third match, so we're going to be using the exact same setup. So yeah, it's not a very exciting video, I know, and I know a lot of people are pretty upset about Grand Party. I did see some individuals say that, you know, I'm not gonna be doing Grand Party because it's such a terrible game mode. I wouldn't advise that. I would still highly suggest to play Grand Party, especially this season, as when you get to 9 victories, you'll get the Super Evolution skills for Guild Tesoro. And, you know, some people may say, well, I don't even have Tesoro, or 6+ Tesoro isn't even that good. Well, I mean, that's fine, but the thing is if you don't get them now, you're eventually going to have to get those skulls later, and they're not going to be available anytime soon. They're probably not going to be in the Kizuna exchange shop for probably another 2 to 3 months, would be my guess. So if you want to get that 6+ Tesoro, you got to get 9 victories, and I know it's not very easy to get, especially if you're a new or a mid-level player. It can be tricky at times, I 100% agree, but I would definitely advise to at least try it and not sit on your hands and not play the game mode at all. I get it, we don't like it, but look, the thing with Grand Party that is nice is that you can skip games. So even if you just want to get through it quickly, you can do that. Just play the game mode. I know, I hate it. I think it's the worst game mode in Treasure Cruise history. But look, we gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta try and get those Super Evolution skills for Tesoro, because he's likely gonna be a boosted character in a couple pieces of content moving forward, and he would be pretty nice to have for that. But overall, I do think that Bandai does need to do something for Grand Party, because as it stands right now, Gear 5 is running rampant, and there's not a lot of things that can really combat it aside from Gear 5 himself. So what we'll come up against is a bunch of mirror matches, and it's just not fun. It's just not, you know? And the fact that Gear 5 is built the way that he is means that people can run really obscene teams to just health cut and use the burst to get to victory. So what I think they need to do is actually amend what Gear 5 does, or ban him from Grand Party altogether. I think that's probably the only 2 ways forward that they could do. Yes, they could introduce more powerful characters to combat Gear 5, but that's definitely the wrong way to go about it, because then we'll complain about the next best thing that's too good. You know, we'll complain about Roger for so long, and yeah, there were characters that could combat it for sure, but Gear 5 is on another level. You know, if we thought that Roger was the best in the game, like, Gear 5 Luffy is like 5 times better than Roger as a GP leader. It's absurd. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. At the end of this clip here, we'll show the red ticket that we got from Grand Party from game number 4 or 5 or 6 victory. I can't remember which one it was. Hopefully you enjoyed it, but on that, I'll catch you guys within the next video.
おかわりはねえのか？おい。